Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So, what are we using today? We're going to do Chakra Insight Oracles and Kuan Yin. So I'm hearing 4 of these and then 2 of those. And they're showing it like the body in quadrants. And then I guess we'll see the message once we know its cards come out. So the first one, we have solar plexus. Should I take reversals? I'm not sure. I'll wait till they're all out and then see how I feel. I'm not getting a reversal vibe, but it could mean blockage. I want that one. This one, so while shuffling, I saw it. I knew I wanted that one. And then it kind of kept getting buried. So I feel like there's a little bit of insight to that. And that one. Okay, so we're not going to take reversals, but 3 out of the 4 were in reverse. And then the one that did come in the upright was sound. And so that's what I'm kind of getting, is just like vibration and hum will be a little bit of importance about bringing this alignment. So what do we got? We've got the solar plexus. We have seeing with perspective, truth, knowledge, and clarity. And then we got sound with music, silence, rhythm, and vibration. Silence, didn't even think of that. Okay. And then the last one was grounding with nature, presence, practicality, and stability. So what I think is interesting about it is, what I like is how the stability and the grounding is in the lower half. And 2 of these, 1, 2. And then we have radiant moon of compassion with the veil of shadows. So, woo, I'm getting chills just on my forearms, on both of them. Very balanced. And what I thought was kind of interesting is here we have the radiant moon. And then over here, we have the veil of shadows. So it's like the moon illuminating shadows to help us see. So I am picking up a blockage. And what they show me, this blockage, yep, I'm feeling it. Okay, so like I said, I have 4, and then right where it intersects, I feel like that's the blockage. It's like from the top to the bottom, almost from the left to the right. So let's take this moon and this veil of shadows. I'm sensing that this shadow is a good thing though. It's not a negative card. The block is just not being able to navigate and flow more. Now I'm seeing the figure 8. And the figure 8, they keep bringing me to the solar plexus. So we start off in the solar plexus. So feminine energy. We're getting on this side, masculine energy on this side of ourselves. So feminine energy, we're getting the sunshine, the solar plexus chakra, which if I didn't tap in to actually feel which it was, I would have thought solar plexus would have been masculine energy, because it's all the I will energy. And it's like, I'm going to go do this. And that's what masculine energy kind of is. It's like, let's go. But on the masculine side, we've got seeing, which I do find that women tend to be a bit more intuitive, right? They have that mother's intuition, so they would have the sight. So what I like about this is that it's switched. So it's taking that loving compassion of the moon, because in tarot, most of the time, the moon is illusions. It's kind of a negative card, kind of. It's like something's been hidden from you, trick or illusion, just based on perception. Truly nothing is a negative card. it's really how you deal with it. And so that's what I'm seeing. It's how you deal with it. So by being like, I'm not going to let this bug me, you learned how to take this illusion or something that's usually dubbed as that and turned it into the radiant moon of compassion. So that's you taking actions. And I heard something so interesting today. I'm gonna butcher it, because I always do. But it was talking about fight, flight, or freeze. My friend sent it to me. Yeah, fight, flight, or freeze. But they said that there was another one that women tend to embody. Fight, flight, or freeze. They don't do any of those. They actually will go and like pick up the phone and call their friends and talk things out. What did they call it? It was like, do I got my iPad? No, I don't. It was like befriending. It was like kind of like having that compassion and then befriending whatever negative situation kind of came. And so rather than going in the masculine way and like taking charge and power, this one was like, it was that compassionate way. It was like calling up and being like, you know, this happened, and like working through it, or seeing someone struggle, and just asking, are you okay? Like, that's huge. So this action, the solar plexus, it's not so much forcing things, but it's still very powerful. Because in the gist of the video, they were saying that by doing these things, because they said men would go to the caves and they would just think themselves silly. They would never talk to anyone. But by women going and connecting and befriending, it raised their life expectancy. So now we go to the masculine side with this veil of shadows. So just based on that story alone, it said men would go into the cave and they would think and think and think and not actually connect with others. But what I see about that is, I think of history, right? Lots of people will hear something, and so rather than actually go and get more information, just charge and start wars and things like that. So that's kind of a good thing that this charge action on the masculine side isn't quite going. It's learned to nurture in nature and get a little bit more information. And I'm not talking about feminine and masculine. We have both of these energies within us, right? So just be mindful of that, right? You have to embrace both sides. But what I'm getting from this story is usually the roles are flipped, and we're very, I'm seeing very aggressive and overly emotional. And this is really taking accountability, like, no, the feminine isn't just over emotional, that they're quite nurturing. And the masculine is not just good for powering through things and getting hurt in those kind of situations. So here they are sitting in this veil of shadows and deciding to look within their intuition, right? What's their version of mother's intuition? And it says perspective, truth, knowledge, and clarity. I'm getting goosebumps. Why am I getting goosebumps? I got the goosebumps when I saw this bird flying. But what about this bird? It's flying higher. And now I'm just, I'm getting a huge rush of guides come in, and they're just like clapping, and it's like hooting and hollering and like praise. And it's like so proud of this switch within the energies. They are like, finally, this is music to our ears. We've been waiting for this for so long. It's like this gentleness has come, especially in the strength card in tarot. There's usually a lion and a lamb, and it's knowing that you're strong enough that you could do anything, but being in control and strong enough within yourself to just lay beside that lamb, right? And that's that veil of shadows, is like how things have been told, how we had to have things done. We're starting to see things now in a clear perspective. And they're saying, this is so healthy. This is so good. It's been such a slow change. Because, like, think about it. The masculine has always been told that they're go, 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 do, do, do. It was so hard for them to let go of the reins and let the compassion take over, and to actually just sit and see some hard truths. So the upper part, right, I'm seeing that as like the heart and our crown. So here's our connection to source, our visions, speaking up for the truth, and sharing our love. Like from here to here, I'm just seeing such a new weave or balance that it's so humbling. And this humble is like the strongest, most boastful, humble brag. That's what they say. Like, again, it's this shift has taken, they're telling me, hundreds of years to get to. So when we go into the lower half, what do you guys want to share? So on the feminine energy side, we had the music, and then the male was grounding. I'm seeing, as the feminine with the music, I'm seeing dancing. I'm getting the sway, the vibration, the humming. What do you want to share about that? They're bringing me to, I don't know how this plays into the reading at all, but it's in her hair. There's like 3 dots here, and it really turned into like water. I hear like water sounds, and then it went into the water, and I saw these 3 lights, and these 3 lights felt very otherworldly. Oh, I'm almost seeing like a womb or something like that, and that spark of life, creation. And there, it's not, is it the womb? I don't know. I almost get this like water and galactic type energy. It's like it's very lightweight, liquidy, and I'm still hearing that sounds of water, and the spark of light happens. I'm seeing 3 again. There's those 3 dots in it. I'm feeling very drawn to the Pleiades for some reason. When I think of the Pleiades, I think of the 7 sisters. And then I guess that would also, I guess sisters would be creation in the womb. I would like a clarifier. Which deck do I want? 1 or 2? Okay, before I get into that, I looked over at the masculine side. Maybe I don't need, they tell me I don't need the clarifier. I'll get into it when they're ready to share that next part. I hope it does, they don't just say that and then I'll forget about it, and then when I watch it in editing, be like, dang, I never got that. But I've already been drawn onto another path. And they're saying that that's what it is, being drawn to a different path. We've switched and we did this, it's almost like a 180. They're not saying it's a 180, but it's switched, it's flipped. And now we're in this very nurturing, healing place. This place, I like it. Like, I feel so comfortable there. Like, I don't want to leave. And so that's why I keep getting this like womb energy. That's like, you're just safe there. It's just you and your healing space. But when I looked over at the masculine, remember when I got those huge chills when that bird came? Well, then I went over to this one, and as I was trying to figure it out, there's a huge bird there. And this one says, nature, presence, practicality, and stability. And so the male here, he's just been sitting there, right? Sitting with his shadows, and gone into the cave, and all they're doing is thinking, just looking within their third eye and seeing the truth. that they've sat there for so long that this guy has actually started to turn into a tree. And it's almost like he sat there and I'm feeling so solid and so grounded. Whereas this one is like a liquid, lightweight energy. This one is very heavy and stable. And to have these as the lower chakra system, so what is that? The solar plexus, the sacral, and the root. I'm seeing the way that we emote. Our creativity and our passions are going to change. Right? An example, I guess I'm seeing just the way that roles have been in the past and how like a little bit of sexist people have been able to take charge. That's going to kind of end because I just see the masculine energy being more like, I want to sit back now and I just want to sit and observe. I want to let the feminine take reign for a bit because they have this lighter, more fun energy coming through. And by doing so, by them being very grounded and being so confident to let the feminine energy flow, it's going to raise them to new heights. That's where the bird comes in. And it says veil of shadows. I do feel like, especially with the masculine energy, that it has been twisted and construed and told how it was supposed to be for so long that it really is in all these shadows. And when you look at her and you zone in really close, she's looking within her third eye. She's not looking outside of herself. She's like, what is all these illusions? What am I really seeing? What's the truth? I need some clarity. And by sitting there for so long, they realize I actually don't even want to go and continue the way I have been. Whereas the feminine energy now is light and watery, and I'm picturing way more creative, loving, and flowy. The masculine energy is now very grounded, and it's almost lost a bit of that steam to even power through and control. But by doing so, it's going to lift that veil, the shadows, and that's where I see the feminine energy as water. Now I'm seeing the masculine energy as air. And they're two total opposite, but there is air and water, H2O. From that, they're bringing me back to the music, right? The sound sharing our emotions, but it's still air element. Once this masculine energy, once we finally let it see and clear away the fog and illusions, I'm seeing communication come so much easier. So if you've had a problem with miscommunication and not understanding people or people not understanding you, I see that a thing of the past. Right? Because especially like I'm seeing a male tone that's like kind of sharp, and that comes off as more like boss and authority. But this time it's just going to be clear, right? It's lighter. It's in that air element. And with that grounding, it says practicality and stability and presence. They bring me to the word presence. Whereas before it was force. Now I just see the masculine actually showing up. I feel like the masculine has been told what to do, and they did what they did because that's what they're supposed to do. But now, because they've taken the time to look within the shadow, they see, now they bring their presence and perspective, and they can see and give great insight. And why don't we try this? Because they see, they're tapped into their mother's intuition. I don't know what we're going to call that, but it's not mother's intuition. It's something I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know what we're going to call it. So, you see a flip and a flop, and it's going to be for something so good for the collective and within us. This way is a lot more effortless and flowing, and the old ways were very demanding and commanding. So I said I really wanted to focus on that little water area. I do get that it is womb and it is creation. I do pick up like a higher vibe. And what did we pull? We got nectar of the lotus. And so that's what I said, a higher vibe. And that's what the lotus is. It's buried in mud and then it reaches for the light. So here's this buried in the water, right? And that's where the spark kind of happens. You look up, you're buried in all this water and muck, but you see this light. And what is this light? Well, it's a little bit of the solar plexus and the radiant moon of compassion. There's something that just pulls you to the light. You'll always be drawn to the light. And that's what the stars are to us too. Do we ever just look up at the stars and be like, wow? So there's that spark in the feminine energy. And then the masculine energy, I see them raising above too and being very practical and really tapping into their intuition and third eye and bringing a strong presence and a grounding presence. And they're going to let the feminine energies take over a bit more because it's just flowing. And they're like, you know, I see where this flow is going. They can see around the bend and they know what's up ahead. And they're going to allow it this time. No need to take action and force, they say. So we'll leave it there. I hope you guys have a good day. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.